differences, and that's what we're just exploring, you know. She's not crying.
What y'all doing?
We're talking to people on the streets.
About what?
Why is this being confrontational? Why is
It's not confrontation.
I'm
because
just
you
very
upset
curious.
You've upset the lady.
Warning.
Yo, I'm so glad I finally found this video, y'all. This is the video I've been telling you guys about, okay? Where a guy, he's interviewing this woman and he's asking her, what are some things that women do better than men? She seems to ramble it off really easily. So then he asks, what are some things that men do better than women? And this is where her brain begins to malfunction, as if she's having cognitive dissonance, okay? For those of you who do not know, cognitive dissonance is when you give someone information, factual information, and it disagrees with a core belief that they already have. Their brain can't handle the truth. You ever hear the saying, you can't handle the truth, even if the truth is very simple. Somehow it upsets their way of life, their view of life, and they have a hard time factoring in this new information, okay? So he's asking this lady, what are some things that women do better than men? She says it easily, but she can't seem to think of a single thing that men do better than women. So he's trying to work with her here. So he says, well, what about strength? That's pretty easy, right? Everybody knows that men, generally speaking, are stronger than women, correct? Well, she can't even give him that. I want you to see how this thing escalates. And at the end of it, I want you to see the irony of it all, okay? It's absolutely amazing. Do not skip this video. Watch it to the end. It's going to blow your mind, okay? Let's go.
The following film contains highly controversial footage because it's got a woman in it hearing facts who's forced to think for herself. As such, it might be removed at any moment, like it has been before. Enjoy. Excuse me, miss. Hello. Hi, can you tell me what we've missed here? Because it looks like something great happened and we just showed up now. What's going on here?
Yeah, we're in acting class, and we've chosen political speeches that we admire, and we've taken them to the park to give to the public and practice just spreading the words that we find passionate and powerful. Yeah. That's
great. I was wondering what was going on because she's up there and people, all these people, and I'm like, what's happening here? Yeah. Fantastic. Can we ask you a really quick question for a little video? Just whatever comes to your mind naturally. What would you say? Can you name some things women just have a knack for more so than men?
Probably compassion and empathy and generosity of heart.
Compassion, empathy, and generosity of heart. See how easy that was? I'm not going to argue with that. Those things come from what I call the spiritual realm, the mental world, the spiritual world. So of course, compassion, empathy, forgive me, and kindness. I don't mind her saying that women, generally speaking, have more compassion than men, or more empathetic than men, okay, and are more kind, generally speaking. I don't mind that, okay. But I want you guys to see. Here's where the problem comes into play. Watch.
What would you say? Can you name some things women just have a knack for more so than men?
Probably compassion and empathy and generosity of heart. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of people go with that. And what comes to your mind if I say what would you say men are better at than women?
I don't know. A lot. I think both have their pluses and.
Why didn't she say that on women being better than men? Why? I don't know. I think they both have their pluses and their strengths and weaknesses. So what is something that men have over? It's really simple, but she can't do it, right? Let's continue.
Minuses. I think men are better at probably.
This is hard to hear, right? She's asked, what do men do better than women? Now, she's already given ways that women are better than men or do things better than men, right? But look at how she's being. She can't think of a single thing that men, generally speaking, do better than women. Wow, like it's crazy, right? Let's continue.
Guarding themselves? Yeah.
Not so good with the emotions. Anything else?
No, I think that's it. Yeah.
Guarding themselves. Men are better at women at guarding themselves.
A lot of things, but that's
nothing that you can think of right now.
No, that's just the one that came up. Yeah.
Nothing that you can think of. No, that's just the one that came up. Well, I've given you some time to think on it. You've taken some time to think on it. You couldn't think of it. You simply just said that they both have positives and pluses and minuses. And then you say, well, I don't know. Maybe they're good at guarding themselves. And that's just the thing that come up. So what else? Right? This is disheartening. The first time I saw this video, I was just like, she really can't say anything? It's that bad? I did not know it was this bad. There's a lot of toxic women in this modern world, okay? Not all women think like this, but I didn't know that these type of women existed, okay? Now, let's continue, family.
Yeah.
It's like muscle stuff. Usually we're pretty good at muscles.
Muscle stuff?
Like strength.
Sure.
That's an easy one. That's a go-to one.
Oh, I think women are good at that too. Yeah.
But like a...
Oh, come on. You see? This is what she could have just said. Okay, look at Jay. This is what she could have said. Yeah, you're right. They're generally stronger than women, right? Because we have laws that, if a man hit a woman, he going to jail. He's get called a woman beater. He get called, why? Because women are substantially weaker than men, generally speaking, right? We know this, okay? So you can see the whole world is set up to this, right? But she doesn't know this. She somehow has not noticed this, okay? But she just notices that women are strong too. Now, is that true? Yes, some women are strong, right? But he said, generally speaking, you understand? But let's continue.
Yeah.
The tendency, generally speaking, women are more connected to the emotions, but men are usually a little bit more muscly,
I think that's been the stereotype, but I think that's definitely changing,
Not a stereotype, that's the fact. Women are more emotional, men have more strength. That's not a stereotype, that's a fact. So now she's shifting it to men are expected to be strong as a stereotype. No, men are stronger. They're generally Why do you think more men go to war? Why do you think, it's so crazy that she's acting like she doesn't know this, right? Now, we know the strongest person in the world is a man, right? And I'm talking about the second strongest person in the world is a man, okay? Now, look, I've taken the time to post up some strongest men compared to the strongest women, people who are in the competitive sport of strength. Okay, so you guys can see a woman when she's being competitive as far as strength, and you can see that in comparison to the men who are also competitive, because a lot of you argue that there are some women that's stronger. And there are some women that are stronger than some men, but no one said that all men are stronger than all women. That wasn't the point. We're not saying that all women are more compassionate, empathetic, and overall more generous than men. We're not saying that all women have this over all men. There are some men who will blow your mind with their empathy and their compassion. Okay, they're more compassionate than most women, but they're not the most compassionate out of the two genders. And this is, she knows this because she easily rambled these things off for women having these type of features over men, but she can't seem to do this for men. But I think it's because she loses something. This is the type of mentality that goes into a woman who won't compliment a man, feeling like she's catering to his ego. You understand? These type of toxic people will never give a man his true value. She's intentionally trying not to see it. You understand? But let's continue.
I think women genetically are catching up to men in strength.
Yeah, I think the emphasis on men having to be so strong and that sort of stereotype, I think that's going down.
You think that it's an emphasis on men being strong, or men just are naturally just stronger because of their genetics?
Oh, interesting.
Interesting. No, men are just stronger because of their genetics. Let's continue.
I think women are just as strong as men. I don't know.
Physically?
Yeah, I do.
But they're not though, right? They're not. Look at this. I'm a normal dude. Look at my size. I'm just bigger.
Look at her face, yo. She's so confused, right? Now, I'm gonna let it play because I want you guys to see what happens here, okay? He's trying adamantly to get her to understand that men, by default, okay, as a base, is stronger than women, okay? And she's not grasping that. So he's saying, look, I'm an ordinary man. Look at my size in comparison to yours. I'm larger than you. Therefore, you can suspect that I'm probably stronger than you, correct? I don't have to show you that, but you would suspect that, right? You You're gonna have a woman walk you to the bathroom because you're scared of what a man can do to you. You don't want to walk down a dark alley because you're not in fear of a woman down that dark alley. You're in fear of a man, right? And it's not because he has a weapon. You're just, men are stronger than you, and you know that you are at a disadvantage when it comes to any type of thing physical with a man. Like, this. But for some reason, right now in this moment, she's gonna pretend that this is the reality for women. Don't get me wrong. The reality for women is that they are vulnerable, okay? But to act like you don't understand that fact is mind-blowing, okay? When we know that if a woman is in danger in public, all she has to do is yell help, and several men will come to her rescue. And the reason is they know they're stronger than her. You understand? This is why. Everyone knows this, okay? But from this point on, I'm going to let it play because I want you to see how she breaks down, okay? Let's go.
Right? So I'm going to have more muscle. That's a normal. It's just how it is. It's not.
Not all men.
No, there are, of course, exceptions, right? Of course, there's men who are like this tall and you could just slap them and beat them up with one hand. But generally speaking, of course, there's men who are intuitive and very emotional and in their hearts and very good at connecting with their emotions too. But that's more rare than a woman who naturally would be more inclined to be connected to her emotion. You know what I mean? Like we just have differences, and that's what we're just exploring. We just find it really interesting how people are scared to say that we're different. I think it's okay to say that we're different. We all have our things that we're good at. Doesn't mean any sex is superior, but we're just different. We're just not the same.
I think it's just the word strong is a difficult one to apply to this because it's like saying women aren't strong.
We're only talking about physical strength. We're not talking like overall strength or goodness.
Did he say women weren't strong? Did he say that? He said men are by default, or generally speaking, stronger than men. This is one attribute that men have over women. Did she say that men aren't compassionate? That men aren't empathetic? And they aren't overall generous and kind? Did she say that? No, right? So he didn't say women weren't strong. So now she has a problem with the word strong. So now if he uses a different word, maybe she can understand him better. If he uses a word other than strong. But the word is strong. Watch this.
Or any of those things, just physically. That's all it was.
Yeah, I think I get that. But I'm just questioning if there's another word that might, make it easier for people to say yes or no to that,
I don't know. What's another good word for strong?
No, that's what I'm proposing is.
It's a good word, though. Strong. Strong is the word. Strong. Look at it. Look at that. That's strong. So yeah, that's but don't you think it's interesting though that that you yourself?
How about they're able to open jars better? This probably is indicative of them being stronger, but does that work better for you? How about more physically dominant? Is that better for you, or is that word dominant do something to you too? You see, so as long as you have a problem with words, we're never gonna close the gap between the lack of understanding between men and women, because this word strong is now bothering her. But empathy didn't bother her. Compassion didn't bother her. And overall generosity did not bother her. But this word strong, we got to find a different word. Let's go.
You kind of struggled when we asked, what are men better at? You kind of, it was a struggle. It was like there was some part of you that didn't want to admit that.
Go.
Because you don't want to go towards I don't want to go towards the like hyper masculinity and like feed into that sort of like, box that men are put in, and there's a box women are put in, and so I think it's a challenging time to be like, what, Well,
here's what I think. I think by admitting that we're different, but ultimately we're just too happy.
Did she care about hyper feminizing everything? Whenever he asked her about the attributes that women have over men, she didn't mind about putting women in a box on that. But when you ask about men, now all of a sudden you don't want to, be hyper masculine or put men in boxes. No, you were fine with saying what women had over men, but you're not fine with saying what men have over women. Maybe you feel like it's disrespectful to say that. Maybe I don't know what is holding her back from this truth, this blatant fact, because it is a clear fact. But somehow she's not able to download this fact into her mind. This is why I say cognitive dissonance, because while it seems to be very clear that men are stronger than women on the norm, she can't grasp that. She's trying to come up with every reason to get out of that fact. And that's what cognitive dissonance does. Okay, your brain wants to stay comfortable in the world that you have created for yourself. Okay, the ideas that you have came to, your brain wants to believe those ideas so you feel safe. When someone comes along and they offer information that's counter to the information that you've already taken as truth, it disrupts your view of life. And so now you have to be accountable to those gaps, right? To those information gaps. And some people are just not willing to do that. They're not willing to change their perspective in light of information. They will instead skew the information so they keep their perspective. They do this with religion, politics, many things, family. It just shows you this person is just not willing to change yet. They're not willing to let go yet. It probably contends with their ego. The information does, right? But let's continue.
Different, but ultimately we're just two halves of one coin, right? Like, we need each other, we love each other. So for real happiness and joy and peace to happen on the planet, we need to accept that we're different, but not see any one side as superior or better. Just that we're just different, and then we accept those differences. We love each other, we come together, and we make beautiful babies. That's what I think.
Are you asking if I agree, or?
Well, no, that's just what I think. But do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that everyone's different. I think, yeah.
Do you?
Do I think everybody's different?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Do you guys want to come talk to us? Some of the differences between men and women, and we're just asking people. She's not okay. Well, I don't know. How am I gonna fix it? She's not crying. I didn't ask anything. I was just asking what's the difference between men and women. Is she crying? All right, let's go talk to her. How's it going?
What are y'all doing?
We're talking to people on the streets.
About what?
About the difference between men and women. Everything.
Now, guys, this is that irony I was talking about. While she is over here upset, crying. Now, you know she's just came from acting class, so she's gaslighting him. Nothing happened there that would make her cry. But again, she's going to gaslight him and act like he did something wrong to her. But when that happens, look at what happens. 2 men come up to protect her. Do you know why 2 men came up to protect her? Well, because men are stronger than women. And they thought this man was doing something wrong to that woman. This is why they went up to protect her. And it's hilarious to me. The irony in it is so funny, because if they knew that she was over there crying because she would not admit that men were stronger and was trying to do everything she could to admit that simple fact, shouldn't make anybody angry. It's a simple fact, okay? But she's over here crying because she wouldn't admit that fact. And here are 2 men over here ready to protect her. They don't even know her. They're strangers, ready to defend her. With what? Their strength? If that was a man that was over there crying, do you think those 2 men would have run up the same way and tried to protect him the same way? What are you doing to him? Why are you bothering him? Why is he crying? Do you think that's how men would have acted? No, that man would have been on his own, right? But because she's a woman, men run up to protect her. And so maybe this is the first time men has ever stood up for her. But I wonder if she will account this into that men are stronger, or that men have some value, because she seems to have a real problem with men. I promise you guys. But let's continue, because this is funny that these men are over here wanting to protect this woman who clearly don't have no love for men. Let's be real.
What is this for?
You want to talk to us?
But who are you for? Like, what is this for?
For my YouTube channel.
Why is this being confrontational?
No, it's not a confrontation.
I'm very curious.
You've upset the lady you were talking to. She's
Oh.
in an upset state.
I haven't asked anything upsetting at all.
So what have you asked? What are some of the questions you've asked?
I'm gonna go through them with you. You want to do it? No. Let's go through the questions. Let's go through the questions. All right. So we're gonna go through the questions.
There's no need to be confrontational.
Pause it. You were very confrontational to that woman.
Hang on.
Were you confrontational?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think.
Now, see, there was a third man running up to talk to him, and you can hear her in the background still gaslighting him, okay? Yelling now, trying to tell him what he was doing wrong. He was simply asking her questions. She said she wanted to do the questionnaire. None of those questions were egregious. None of his responses were egregious at all. But now he's had to stop filming because he's being confronted by people. He couldn't even finish the video. He couldn't even get the rest of the footage on camera, y'all. You understand? The guys who approached him have even asked that their face be removed from the what's her name, and that's why they're blurred out. So he got his video took down because they didn't want their face on the camera. You understand? And it's crazy because this is after they saw what happened. They're complaining about their face being seen on the camera. Maybe they're embarrassed for running up and trying to protect this woman who clearly had no love for men. You understand? But family, I wanted y'all to see that video because I wanted you to see that in light of all the things that men can do to show their value, a lot of these toxic women will pretend they don't see it. They'll say that they never had a positive male role model growing up. No grandfather, no father, no brother, no uncles that showed them that men have value, that men have anything positive to aspire to be, right? They'll say they've never saw this. But in their reality, they have had complete strangers walk them to their car because they were in fear and felt unsafe, walk them down dark alleys, walk with them to the bathroom, do a lot of things to put themselves in harm's way so that they feel safe. You understand? So they have seen a man display his value. They just ignore it. They think he's obligated to do that. They think that they're entitled to him laying down his life for her. That's what they think. And what I'm trying to explain to you guys is he is not. He is not obligated to do that. If you feel fear because you're a woman and there are men around you that can hurt you, we understand that because your reality shows you that there is something to fear. But if you believe that men have to protect you just because you are a woman, you are sadly mistaken and you are entitled. If anybody steps up for you, you should be thankful for them doing it. If a woman is willing to walk you to the bathroom, walk you to your car so you don't get, touched or anything bad happen to you, you should be grateful. And if a man did that, you should be grateful. But if you fail to see that this man is doing that for you, then you're the problem because he is doing something for you that he don't have to do. Now, I also want to encourage you guys to try and see the value in each other, because if you can see that value, you can work with this person. So if he can work with his wife better, if he understood that women are foundationally more generous, more empathetic, more compassionate. So he can work with her knowing that this is where she has strengths at, right? And you can work with him knowing that he's stronger than you, okay? He's a better builder than you, typically, okay? He's a better planner when it comes to his vision, knowing what he's wanting out of life, okay? He's a better hunter, a person who goes out and makes money. Men can do that really well. On average, they're better at that than women. So if you recognize your husband has these attributes, and it's not displayed in all men the same and in all women the same, don't get me wrong. But if you're with a man and you recognize that he has these strengths, you should work with his strengths and notice these strengths. But this woman can't see the value in a man if it hit her in the face. Okay? Be able to see the value, family. Whenever you do stuff like that, I'm telling you, it just shows that you're not healthy. You're not healthy. You got so much trauma built up that you can't see the value in another gender. And the problem with that is that they're still human beings. And you can't live without that other counterpart. You have a father. You have brothers. You're going to have a son one day. You have a grandparents. You have uncles. None of these men you care anything about. You don't see value in men at all, not even them. Yo, this is a problem. And you know what's crazy about it? She argued that women are more compassionate, more empathetic, and overall more generous at heart. Well, where's this compassion? Where's this empathy? And where's this overall generosity when you need it? Because when it comes to having that compassion, that empathy, and being at least just generous enough to give the man the strength, you can't do that. Well, I would venture to say that she shouldn't include herself in those attributes that she said women have over men on the norm, because she didn't display them at all. She acted very heartless, cold, okay? She lacked empathy. So how she acted was very narcissistic, as if she had no compassion, empathy, or she wasn't generous at all. But she argues that women have those features. Well, not you, ma'am. So you're right. It's not true for everybody. That's crazy, man. Now, I challenge y'all, man, grow up, man. Come out of this hate y'all have, because we're not going to do any better. That was so ironic, family. The irony, family. Anyway, be evolution. Be the change that you want to see. No candle loses its flame from lighting another. And if you were to ever find yourself in the middle of chaos, or it's in that chaos that you have found yourself. And know this, family, you can never cross the ocean until you have the courage to leave the shore. So have the courage to leave the shore. All right? Peace.